Hello students, in this lecture I am going to explain oogenesis, maturation of ovarian follicle, structure of ovary, menstrual cycle and as well as hormonal regulation of menstrual cycle in a single shot. Before going to start this class, you just have to remember few points. First thing is watch this video under high quality, at least minimum at 480p in high quality, because the labeling everything what I wrote, it is generally small in size. So, to visualize this you have to watch this video in high quality. And second thing, watch the video till the end, because I am going to cover around 4 to 5 concepts in a single lecture. So, if you skip a few portions of the video, then you could not able to understand the whole concept, right. So, you have to remember this. Now, let us start the class. First of all, oogenesis. Oogenesis, it is the process of formation of haploid ova from diploid oogonial cell. Unlike in males, here in females, oogenesis start when the female is in mother's womb itself. ಅಂದರೆ ಹೆಣ್ಣು ಮಗು ತಾಯಿ ಗರ್ಭದಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾಗಲೇ oogenesis start ಆಗುತ್ತೆ in the fetal stage itself, where what happens, the primordial germ cells which are present inside the ovary that undergo repeated mitotic division to give rise to oogonia. Diploid oogonia, further it may undergo mitosis to increase in its number, and it differentiate into primary oocyte by accumulation of more amount of cytoplasm. So, you have to remember primary oocyte is also diploid. It formed by the accumulation of cytoplasm inside the oogonium. You can see the size. So, here oogonium is smaller, but primary oocyte is larger in size. And when female embryo reach to 25 weeks of age, this primary oocyte starts to divide by meiosis, but it is arrested at meiosis 1, that too arrested at prophase 1 of meiosis. And you know, in the prophase 1 there are several stages. Here in the prophase 1 stage, this primary oocyte is arrested at diplotin stage, that you have to remember, and because of the cell it is not completed its division, that is why I wrote the single cell. Again it is also the primary oocyte only, but here the difference is meiosis is arrested at prophase 1. So, all these events you can see that takes place in the fetal stage, when the female baby is in the embryo condition, when it is in the mother's womb. And here you have to remember few points. In the female fetus, around 2 million oogonia will be formed in each ovary, and no more oogonia will be added after birth, that you have to remember. And this primary oocyte inside the ovary, it is surrounded by few follicular cells to form primordial follicles. You can see these are the primordial follicles, and no more primordial follicle will be added after birth. And from birth to puberty, many primordial follicles or many primary oocytes will degenerate, and only around 60,000 to 80,000 primary oocytes or primordial follicles will be left in each ovary. You have to note down this point. How many will left after when it reaches to puberty? Around 60,000 to 80,000. Primary oocyte left at puberty. Now, at puberty or after puberty, in actively reproducing period, when adult reproductive life, what happens? This primary oocyte, it is surrounded by, you know, already primary oocyte, it has surrounded by few follicular cells to form primordial follicles. Now, what happened? This primordial follicles which are present around this primary oocyte, their number increases, and it secrete a translucent membrane. It is generally a cellular membrane called zona pellucida, which is mainly made up of glycoproteins. And now this is called as primary follicle. You can see here, this is the primary follicle. After puberty, this primary oocyte which is there inside the primordial follicle, it secrete a membrane, a non-cellular membrane called zona pellucida, and as well as membrane granulosa cells number increases, that will become what? Primary follicle. And then primary follicle mature into secondary follicle, secondary follicle matures into tertiary follicle, that I will explain later. First let us move on to this, what happened in the reproductive period, means after puberty. The primary oocyte that complete its meiosis 1, but here the division is unequal, result in the formation of a smaller first polar body and a larger secondary oocyte. So the difference is, this is also having 23 chromosomes, the secondary oocyte is also having 23 chromosomes. That means both are haploid, but amount of cytoplasm is less. Bulk of cytoplasm will be maintained in the secondary oocyte, whereas polar body has very less cytoplasm. This first polar body, it may degenerate or it may further divide. Its fate is completely unknown. Right. Now what happens? This secondary oocyte is generally present inside the Graafian follicle, that I will explain later, how the Graafian follicle is formed. Secondary oocyte, after the entry of sperm, before the fusion with the sperm nucleus, it complete its meiosis 2. Meiosis 2 division will be completed. Why? Because here after meiosis 1, secondary oocyte, it also started the meiosis 2, but meiosis 2 is arrested at metaphase 2. So the division is incomplete. When that meiosis 2 will be completed? After the entry of sperm and before the fusion of sperm nucleus with the egg nucleus. Why? Because after the entry of sperm, that induces anaphase promoting factor, whereas metaphase promoting factor is subjected to breakdown. Then what happens? Secondary oocyte, which is arrested at metaphase 2, that promotes to anaphase 2, means it complete its meiosis 2. So meiosis 2 will be completed, result in the formation of again smaller second polar body and larger ova or ootid. So this is how the process of oogenesis takes place. And here I wrote primary oocyte for 3 times. If you are preparing for theory examination, no need to write this primary oocyte for 3 times. You just write once, and these 2 are not required. This is for your understanding purpose. And here also I wrote secondary oocyte for 2 times. This secondary oocyte is present inside the Graafian follicle, and this secondary oocyte after ovulation, where sperm entered but there is no fusion yet. So this is, I think, about oogenesis. Now the next one is follicular maturation. Here, as you know, the primary oocyte, which is formed in the fetal stage of the female individual, this primary oocyte is surrounded by stromal cells. Stromal cells means inside the ovary the stroma is present, which has cells. Those cells surround this primary oocyte to form the primordial follicle. But here the stromal cells, which are also called as follicular cells, those are generally flat. And next what happened? When the female individual after birth, when the female reach to puberty, at that stage this primary oocyte, what happened? It developed a non-cellular translucent glycoproteinous membrane. So this membrane you can see here, it is called as zona pellucida, and the flat follicular cells will become what? Columnar, and it also surrounded by few granulosa cells to become primary follicle. Now what happened? This primary follicle again surrounded by more granulosa cells, and as well as a new theca layer is differentiated around the follicle. Then that will become what? Secondary follicle. So these theca layers is also obtained from the cells of stroma. And next, inside this secondary follicle, because of the formation of more granulosa cells or more follicular cells accumulation, Inside this secondary follicle, there is a formation of a fluid filled cavity. You can see this one is the fluid filled cavity, which is also called as antrum. The fluid which is present here in this cavity is called as liquor folliculi. Right. So, as the antrum cavity is formed, then the secondary follicle will differentiate into tertiary follicle. And now finally, in the tertiary follicle, as this theca layer, which is just mentioned in the pink color or red color, you can see here, this theca layer, it is differentiated into theca externa and theca interna. And you have to remember exactly at this time, when theca layer is differentiated into theca externa and theca interna, this primary oocyte complete its first meiosis to form secondary oocyte and first polar body. Now, this tertiary follicle will become mature into the Graafian follicle. This is what the Graafian follicle. So, Graafian follicle is the mature ovarian follicle that has a theca externa, this layer, and a theca interna, and inside this theca interna you can see a few layer of granulosa cells, which is also called as membrane granulosa, and some of the granulosa cells that push this secondary oocyte into the antrum cavity. So, these granulosa cells actually that push the secondary oocyte into the antrum cavity. So, these are called cumulus oophorus, and few granulosa cells which are surrounded by the secondary oocyte are called as corona radiata. And finally, this one is the antrum cavity. So, this cavity is antrum, and as I said, there is a translucent non-cellular membrane called zona pellucida around the secondary oocyte. Now, this secondary oocyte, after rupturing of Graafian follicle, will be released from the ovary. This is how the maturation of ovarian follicles takes place, and this is about the structure of Graafian follicle. And you have to remember, here is a fluid which is filled inside this antrum. This fluid is called as liquor folliculi, right. So, the next topic is menstrual cycle, hormonal regulation, and as well as we will study the structure of ovary. Okay, first we will discuss the hormonal regulation of the menstrual cycle, and then we will move to the menstrual cycle topic. Here, when female individual reach to puberty, the first menstrual cycle, that is called as menarche or menarche, we can pronounce like that, that takes place. And here hypothalamus, in the entire reproductive period, what happened, hypothalamus secrete a hormone called as GnRH, that is gonadotropin releasing hormone. This GnRH acts on anterior pituitary gland, and in response to this, anterior pituitary gland secrete follicular stimulating hormone and as well as the luteinizing hormone, right. Follicular stimulating hormone, it helps in the maturation of ovarian follicle, that I have already explained how the ovarian follicle will be matured. That causes the maturation of primary follicle into secondary, secondary into tertiary, and finally tertiary follicle into mature Graafian follicle. And here one thing you have to remember, the maturing ovarian follicle, that too the cells which are present in the theca interna. So, theca internal cells of the Graafian follicle or ovarian follicle that secrete a hormone called as estrogen. So, this estrogen level generally increases around or during the middle of the menstrual cycle, and the estrogen, it stimulate the GnRH to secrete more amount of LH, that causes the LH surge during the middle of the menstrual cycle, means around 6 to 9 or 10 folds the amount of LH increases around the middle of the menstrual cycle, which is called LS surge. That LS surge causes the rupturing of Graafian follicle and releasing of the ova. So, ruptured Graafian follicle, it releases ova, that process is called ovulation, and ruptured Graafian follicle develops into corpus luteum. This corpus luteum secrete a hormone called as progesterone, and here estrogen and progesterone are the female sex hormone which are most important for the maintenance of pregnancy, and but they are having some different roles that I will explain now. First, let us take about estrogen. As I said earlier, estrogen increases during the middle of the menstrual cycle, and that helpful in the LH surge, one thing. And estrogen also helps in the proliferation of endometrium, means the endometrium which is already ruptured during the menstrual flow, that ruptured endometrium will be reformed, that is endometrial hyperplasia, and that newly formed endometrium is called as stratum functionalis. And along with that, estrogen also generally increases the thickness of myometrium. You know, myometrium is the second layer of the uterus. That myometrium thickness increases, and it also increases the blood supply or vascularization to the endometrium layer by the formation of more blood capillaries in that stratum functionalis, right. And overall, you have to remember, estrogen increases the thickness of uterine wall, right. So, including along with myometrial hypertrophy, means increasing the thickness of myometrium is called myometrial hypertrophy. Whereas progesterone helps in the maintaining the structure of endometrium. How it maintains the structure of endometrium? By two means or by two methods. One, progesterone increases glandular nature and adhesive nature of endometrium, glandular nature and adhesive nature. And second thing, progesterone decreases contraction of myometrium. What if myometrium contraction increases? You have to remember, if myometrium contraction increases, the newly formed endometrium or stratum functionalis will be ruptured, and it will be released from the uterus. So, that you have to remember. That is how the progesterone maintains the structure of endometrium. So, this is how. And one more thing, the progesterone, it gives negative feedback. How the increased progesterone level, it decreases LH and as well as FSH. This is what the negative feedback. This is the negative feedback, and what I wrote here, this one is the positive feedback. How estrogen increases LH such. So, this is how the hormonal regulation process. Now, let us move on to the menstrual cycle. So, menstrual cycle are the cyclical events that occur in the female reproductive tract of primate mammals. Here, when it comes to human beings, menstrual cycle, it is for about approximately 28 to 29 days the menstrual cycle will occur, and it has following stages. The first stage that I am going to explain means it includes menstrual phase, it is followed by follicular phase, which is followed by ovulatory phase, and finally the luteal phase. Now, let us discuss the first phase, the menstrual phase. So, here in the menstrual phase, the level of hormones like FSH and LH hormone is at very low level, that you have to remember, FSH and LH, and as well as other hormones like progesterone and estrogen. So, this reduced level of hormones causes the rupturing of endometrium. That ruptured portion of endometrium is also called as stratum functionalis. This ruptured endometrium along with the blood. So, bleeding also occur. Why? Because contraction of arteries occur, and as well as contraction of myometrium which is present in the uterus. The uterus muscle also contraction occur, and that finally causes the release of blood, mucus and ruptured endometrium through the cervical canal and vagina. So, that process is called as menstruation, and that phase is called menstrual phase, and it is for about 1st to 5th day of the menstrual cycle. And next, the second stage is the follicular phase. I have already explained how the ovarian follicles will mature. In the follicular phase, what happens? It is the second stage. Here, FSH and LH hormone level is very high. So, this increased FSH causes the maturation of ovarian follicle starting from primordial to primary follicle, primary to secondary, secondary to tertiary, and tertiary to Graafian follicle. And this follicular phase is about from 6th to 13th day of the menstrual cycle. As I said earlier, the maturing ovarian follicle, here this theca internal layer, it has cells, those cells secrete estrogen, and increased estrogen level causes more secretion of LH. That secretion of LH causes the rupture of the Graafian follicle. This rupture of Graafian follicle finally helps in the releasing of ova. That process is called as ovulation, and this phase is called ovulatory phase. This occurs during the 14th day of the menstrual cycle, and this one is the third phase of the menstrual cycle. So, the main reason for the ovulation, as I said earlier, LH surge. Now, what happens? After ovulation, the ruptured Graafian follicle, before ovulation or pre-ovulatory stationally, these follicular cells do not have any vascularization. There is no blood supply to these follicular cells. But after rupturing of Graafian follicle, this ruptured Graafian follicle will become vascularized. Blood capillaries idakke supply agutte, and they will become yellow in color. So, because of the presence of a pigment called lutein, Lutein, lutein. So, this yellow colored structure is called corpus luteum. So, finally, you have to remember, ruptured Graafian follicle develops into corpus luteum. So, it has lutein cells and lutein pigment. This corpus luteum, it secrete one more female sex hormone called as progesterone, as I said earlier, and this progesterone will be secreted if there is pregnancy. If there is pregnancy, corpus luteum will be functional for about 9 months, and it go on secreting progesterone hormone. If there is no pregnancy, this corpus luteum will secrete the progesterone hormone for about around 9 to 10 days only, and this phase where corpus luteum is very active and secrete progesterone hormone is called as luteal phase, and this one is the 4th phase of menstrual cycle, and this is from 15th to 28th day of the menstrual cycle. Got it? Here, if there is no pregnancy, then what happen? Corpus luteum will degenerate into corpus albicans, which finally disintegrate inside the ovary itself. So, this corpus albicans do not secrete any progesterone. So, finally, after luteal phase, as progesterone level and as well as estrogen level decreases and FSH LH is also at low level, that again leads to the menstrual phase and rupturing of stratum functionalis. Got it? This is about 4 different phases of the menstrual cycle. And now let us take the structure of ovary, the sectional view of ovary. So, ovary in the sectional view, it look like this. I am writing here itself. Just like testis, ovary is also surrounded by a protective layer called tunica albuginea. Right, and it is internally lined by germinal epithelium cells, that we have to remember like this. Right, and the portion of ovary inside this germinal epithelium is called as stroma. This is entirely the stroma, which has stromal cells. Stroma could be divided into 2 regions, an outer portion which is called as ovarian cortex, this portion. I am just shading for your understanding purpose. So this region is the ovarian cortex. Ovarian cortex. Ovarian cortex, it has mainly ovarian follicles, ruptured Graafian follicle, corpus luteum and corpus albicans. You can see primary, primordial, primary, secondary, tertiary and Graafian follicle, ruptured ovarian follicle and corpus luteum and corpus albicans. Whereas the inner region of ovary, this region is called as ovarian medulla. Right. This ovarian medulla, it is richly generally supplied with blood vessels, lymph vessels and as well as nerve fibers. You can see like this. This is about the ovarian medulla, and finally this is about the structure of ovary. This is about this lecture, and remaining what is left in this chapter is the fertilization, how the process of fertilization takes place, and after fertilization how embryo formation, embryogenesis and organogenesis takes place, and delivery, that is also called as parturition and lactation. So these are the concepts that are left, that I will explain in the next lecture. Okay, thank you.